Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the incredibly dramatic and totally unexpected recasting of the lead role in Amazon MGM and Sony's highly anticipated God of War TV series. If you've been following the journey of bringing Kratos to live action, you already know this adaptation carries the weight of massive expectations. But Hollywood productions can be incredibly fragile. So today we're going to map out exactly how a sudden physical tragedy on set forced one of the biggest pivots in recent television history. Let's get right into it.
To really wrap our heads around the impact of this shakeup, we've got to look at where things started. Right after the initial casting was announced, the original voice of Kratos, the legendary Christopher Judge, gave a beautifully touching and resounding endorsement to actor Ryan Hurst. Judge literally called it a magnificent choice. He praised Hurst not just as a fantastic actor, but as a hardcore gamer who's loved the franchise since its inception. He said, "Kill it, Ryan," and man, that set incredibly high hopes for the community. Having the original Kratos pass the torch with that kind of enthusiasm, it gave the whole production a profound sense of legitimacy right out of the gate.
Which brings us to Section 1, the perfect Kratos cast.
Let's look at exactly why Ryan Hurst was considered the absolute ultimate fit to bring this iconic character to live action. His dedication to the role was just absolute. The guy underwent an insane physical transformation, packing on nearly 20 kilograms. That's about 40 pounds of pure muscle. Just think about that for a second. At 50 years old, transforming your body to handle the brutal, intense physical demands of playing a Spartan demigod, that is no small feat. He was out there on the Vancouver set enduring grueling physical requirements day in and day out. Plus, he already had direct franchise experience, having brilliantly played Thor in the God of War Ragnarok video game. He knew this world inside and out, and he was fully committed.
But unfortunately, that incredible journey was abruptly cut short, bringing us to Section 2, a devastating on-set injury. Okay, let's dive into the inciting incident here. Things were actually going incredibly well. Shooting was running smoothly from February all the way up until late June. But then, while performing the intensely physical duties required to play Kratos, Hurst suffered a severe bicep tear. And to be clear, we're not just talking about a minor strain here. This is a traumatic injury, where the muscle tendon is torn badly enough that it requires immediate surgery. So he underwent the operation, he was sidelined, and, well, everything just stopped. The entire Vancouver production came to a heartbreaking halt. The reality of this injury all comes down to a brutal recovery timeline, 4 to 12 months. What does that actually mean in practice? Well, medical reality dictates that for a serious bicep tear like this, you're looking at a minimum of 4 to 6 months just for your basic everyday recovery. But to regain the intense, godlike physical strength required to swing the Leviathan axe and actually play Kratos, that can take up to a full 12 months. It's an agonizingly slow process, filled with extensive, grueling physical therapy.
This devastating medical reality brings us to Section 3, the cost of waiting.
Sony Pictures Television and Amazon MGM Studios were suddenly staring down a massive logistical and financial nightmare. The cascade effect of this injury shows exactly why they simply couldn't just wait it out. They started shooting in February, hit that hiatus in late June, and suddenly they're scrambling. Now, prep is scheduled to resume in mid-August with a brand new actor, aiming for a production restart in mid-October. Because in the television industry, holding a massive crew, locking down sets in Vancouver, and pausing these giant contracts for a whole year, it just isn't feasible. They had to keep the machine moving, which meant making the incredibly tough call to recast. Now, what is truly staggering here is the sheer scale of the fallout. 4. That's the number of entirely completed episodes that must now be completely scrapped and reshot. I mean, just think about the millions of dollars, the countless hours of crew labor, the visual effects, the stunts. All of that from those first 4 episodes is just gone. They're basically starting from scratch with the new lead actor. And of course, the ripple effect extends straight to our living rooms. The original plan was to shoot 2 seasons back to back. And, remarkably, the studios are reportedly still sticking to that massive 2-season order. But this mid-production restart has absolutely blown up the release calendar. The new schedule suggests that fans likely won't see the Season 1 premiere until sometime in 2028. Yep, 2028. That is a massive delay for one of Amazon's biggest flagship properties. Naturally, such a huge shift in a highly anticipated show generated a massive wave of reactions. Let's look at Section 4, fans react to the news.
Checking the pulse of the community, we can see the reactions split pretty cleanly into two main camps. On one side, there is profound empathy for Ryan Hurst. Commenters across Reddit and other platforms highlighted his intense dedication, expressing genuine sadness over his physical pain and all that hard-earned 40-pound muscle basically gone to waste. But on the flip side, contrasted against all that sympathy, is a pretty harsh acceptance of Hollywood's logistical realities. A lot of fans acknowledge that you simply can't hold a production of this scale for a year and expect it to survive. As cold as it sounds, recasting was pretty much the only financially viable option to save the jobs of everyone else working on the show. Online commenters also quickly pointed out a few other ripple effects that make this whole situation even more of a headache. First up, the young actor playing Atreus. As we all know, kids grow fast, and noticeably aging during an extended hiatus is a total nightmare for continuity. Second is the tragic loss of Christopher Judge's initial blessing. Whoever steps in next won't inherently have that same initial magic and public endorsement, you know? And finally, there are even debates springing up over whether the adaptation should just cut its losses and be canceled entirely. Though with that massive two-season order still in place, the studios are clearly pushing forward. As we wrap up this explainer on the God of War production saga, it leaves us with one massive, lingering question for you to ponder. The sets are waiting, the scripts are written, and the search has officially begun. So, who should pick up the Leviathan axe and step into the physically demanding, emotionally complex role of Kratos now? It absolutely has to be someone who can carry the sheer gravitas of the God of War while stepping into a production that's already been through the ringer. Let that sink in as we keep a close eye out for Hollywood's next big casting announcement.